What if I told you there was something you could do right now that requires minimal equipment that could improve neck, jaw, face pain, reduce the incidence of sleep apnea, reduce clenching and grinding your teeth at night, as well as potentially improve your bite? Would you do it? And the sad thing is, most providers completely ignore working on this area. And that thing, which is evidence-based according to these studies, is your resting tongue posture. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to attain the ideal resting tongue posture that improves your ability to nasal breathe. Now, there are a ton of videos out there that can teach you how to get into this tongue posture. If you've ever heard of mewing, that is the concept. But they all have one fatal flaw, and that's assuming you have the tongue coordination to be able to get the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. There's several muscles that have to engage to get the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. That pulls the floor of the nose down, which opens up the nasal passages. But what if you can't contract those muscles? That's where this video is different. Not only am I going to teach you how to attain a proper tongue posture, but I'm going to coach you through some movements that will improve the dynamics of your tongue and make it easier to get into that position so you can reap the benefits. Step one, make sure you have enough tongue range of motion in the first place to get it up to the roof of the mouth. A lot of people force their tongue up to the roof of the mouth. Well, what if you don't have the mobility to get there? These studies indicate that less than 1%, all the way to 10% of the population could have a tongue tie. If you have a tongue tie, what ends up happening is either you can't open your mouth to get your tongue up to the roof of the mouth, or the floor of the mouth, the bottom of the tongue, actually lifts upward to get into position. Both of these can negatively impact your tongue mobility, and they reduce your ability to suction the roof of the mouth down. In an ideal tongue posture, we want the tongue to comfortably get up to the roof of the mouth without having any of those compensations. You can tell if you're restricted in this motion if you notice a difference between these three tests. The first test is see how far you can open your mouth. You should be able to comfortably open and fit almost 2 knuckles in between your teeth. Once you hold that position, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the tip of your tongue and put it on this rough part that's right behind your teeth called the rugae. Just the tip of the tongue only. You should see minimal drop off between opening and the tongue tip open. The third thing is to then take the entire tongue, put it up against the roof of the mouth, and see if you can maintain roughly the same amount of opening. If your mouth progressively closes with each of those, say less than 75% of your total opening, then you probably have some tongue mobility restrictions, and that's going to impact your resting tongue posture. Now, in my case, I actually got a tongue tie release to improve my motion. You can see the difference before and after the surgery, but not everyone needs to go that route. I like these 3 moves to improve your tongue range of motion. The first is a palate brush. You're gonna take the tip of your tongue, start on the rough patch called the rugae behind the teeth, and slide your tongue as far back and forth along the roof as you can without straining in the face or moving the jaw that much. Do 2 sets of 20 a couple times per day. The next move is cheek punches. This stretches the bottom of the tongue. You're going to bite down on 1 to 2 knuckles, and you're going to comfortably push your tongue as far as you can into one cheek. Hold for a 5 count, and then do the other side. Do 10 reps for a 5 count hold of each 2 times per day. Once you've gained some opening, you're then gonna put it all together by doing tongue openers. You're going to get your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. If you have a hard time with that, make the noise g or k. If you try that, you'll notice the back of the tongue comes up. Another option, if that doesn't work, is to make a clucking noise. This helps create the same tongue posture. Once you get your tongue up to the roof of the mouth, you're then going to comfortably open and close without tensing the face and the neck. Do 10 to 20 opens, 2 to 3 times per day. Step 2, work the tongue musculature so you can create a shape where the tongue fits in between the teeth. When people try to get their tongue up to the roof of their mouth, you will see the tongue spill over the teeth. This limits your ability to create that suction, which reduces the impact of that posture. So we have to work on tongue actions that allow us to not only get the tongue up to the roof of the mouth, but fit it between the teeth. There's 3 moves that I use to help with that. The first move is the taco tongue. With this, you're going to curl the sides up and push the tongue as far forward as you can without straining your neck or your facial muscles. Hold this for 3 sets of 30 seconds. Now, if you can't do that, you might be thinking, oh, Zach, that's a genetic thing. There's no way I can do that. Wrong. You just need a little help, my friend. If you have a hard time getting the taco tongue, get a chopstick, put it right dead center in your tongue, and press down. Try to curl the tongue over the chopstick, like you're making a hot dog. Once you're able to get that movement, you want to slowly remove the chopstick and try to hold the posture. Then, and only then, should you try to push the range. You've worked on curling the sides. Now we're going to work on making the tongue skinny. If you are someone, when you stick your tongue out and you notice ridges on the sides of your tongue called scalloping, this is the move for you. Take that very same chopstick, you're going to stick it out in front of you, and you want to push your tongue to hit the chopstick. And you're going to try to hold your position on that chopstick and squeeze the sides of the tongue inward. Usually what I do when I'm practicing this is I'll set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes and work on holding this position as long as I can. This will reduce the side-to-side dimensions of the tongue, which will limit that scalloping from occurring. The third thing is what I call the fat tongue. And don't worry, I spell it with a PH. The fat tongue is where you make the top and bottom dimensions bigger, making it easier to get the back of the tongue up to the roof of the mouth. From the same pointy tongue position, you're going to work on making the tongue bigger and smaller. You'll feel the back of the tongue muscles working. Same thing, set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes to practice this motion. You've got the motion, you can create the shapes. Now is the time that you want to work on your tongue posture. The first thing I would do is I would take the tip of the tongue and put it on that rough patch called the rugae. Then from there, you'll want to close your mouth with the lips being comfortably sealed. The teeth can either touch or be slightly apart. And then you would practice holding this posture over the course of the day. Once that's too easy, you can progress to getting the entire tongue up against the roof of your mouth and completing that same posture. Now, if you notice that when you get that tongue posture, there's still some spillover of the tongue into the teeth, you can practice this drill to help encourage the tongue fitting in between the teeth. What you'll do is you'll take the tip of your tongue, shoot it just past the teeth, and you're going to press the entire tongue up into the teeth. You'll feel the back of the tongue muscles working. From there, what you're going to do is you're going to slide the tongue back into the roof and see if you can hold that position. Close the mouth with the lips being comfortably sealed. Teeth can either be touching or be slightly apart. And you'll want to try to hold this tongue posture over the course of the day. Now, times you're not going to hold this posture, obviously if you're talking, if you're doing mobility drills where you have to exhale through the mouth, or very intense exercise. I'm talking you are pushing it to the limit. Otherwise, if you're chilling, you're trying to do cardiovascular exercise or anything else like that, I would try and keep this tongue posture. Now, you might have been doing those drills and you notice that, oh, your face is just working so frickin' hard. What's up with that? Well, it could be that you have a hard time differentiating your tongue muscles from the muscles of your face and your neck. that sounds like you, I'd actually check out this video right here, because there's some drills that you can practice that can teach you to move those muscles independently of the tongue.